it's Linda, and I'm back with another card. I will be using Hero Arts Mandala Bold prints and Celebrate Everyday stamp set. I started off by placing my stamp, the Mandala Bold print stamp, in my stamp positioner, and then I used the embossing buddy to prevent any extra powder or glitter from sticking where I didn't want it to stick. And I will be using white embossing powder, and then I will heat set that after I have it all on the paper. And if you ever get any embossing powder where you don't want it, you can use a dry paintbrush to take it off. I learned that trick from somebody else. I've seen it several people doing that. Once I have that all heat set, I'm going to take some Distress inks in Blueprint Sketch, Mermaid Lagoon, Picked Raspberry, and Cracked Pistachio to do some ink blending, and I will start with the Picked Raspberry, then move to the Blueprint Sketch, then the Mermaid Lagoon, and then the Cracked Pistachio. And I will go from the middle to the outside, and then I'll work my way back into the middle, and then back to where I think it needs blended. I'll continue to blend. Then once I have it all blended, I'm going to take a microfiber towel and I will rub the top of the ink blended surface to take off the ink on top of the embossing powder. Now, since Distress inks react with water, I thought I would use a Zig medium water brush and take some of the water out in areas, and I'm just using the water from the paintbrush and then a paper towel to dab up the water. Since this isn't watercolor paper, I didn't want to over soak my paper, so I'm using the paper towel to blot up the extra water. And then it wasn't taking out as much color as I wanted, so I had some hand sanitizer sitting on my desk, and I thought I'd try using that to take out some of the color, but that really didn't do a whole lot. So just for your information, hand sanitizer, once I had it as bleached out as I had, really didn't do a whole lot to take any more of the color out. So once I had that to where I wanted, I changed my mind and I decided that I was going to put more color back in after all. So I took those same Distress ink colors in the Blueprint Sketch, the Mermaid Lagoon, the Picked Raspberry, and the Cracked Pistachio, and I'm going to add those back in to the panel, and I just put some on my craft mat and use the water brush to add color back in. Now I tried to stay with the colors that were in the design, but some of them were kind of a mixture of the colors. So in the one that had the Blueprint Sketch and the Mermaid Lagoon kind of towards the outside there, I tried to mix those two colors, but it really still ended up looking like more of just the Blueprint Sketch. So I do these voiceovers on my computer, and every time I start to talk, it like takes off and the fan starts running loud, so I try to start and stop and adjust that so that you don't hear just the fan of my computer. So if it gets really noisy, I apologize. But as I finished up with the ink blending, I'm going to take a strip of black paper and I'm going to use my embossing buddy and stamp my sentiment on that with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to white emboss that as well. And then once I have that done, I'm going to cut it down and I am going to apply, whatever that A word is, apply some double-sided adhesive on the back of my panel and then to the back of the sentiment strip, and then I'm going to use 3M tape, on the back of the black strip of paper, and then I'm going to use 3M stick tape on the foam tape on the back of my sentiment strip to make that pop up just a little bit. I'm going to layer those all up, starting with the little black strip of paper, and then I'll adhere the panel to the black strip and to the card base. And then finally I'm going to use a T ruler and make sure the little sentiment is lined up after I cut it down. And I will adhere that to the paper. And then I'm going to add some Nuvo clear crystal drops in a couple spots around the page, and then I decided that I wanted to use a little bit of Wink of Stella to finish it out and to add a little sparkle to the spots that I colored back in. And that, I think, completes my card. And sorry that my head kept getting in the way in the end there. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I appreciate you watching my video. Thanks so much. Bye.